Right, you lot, let's talk Aston Villa and the biggest game, and I know I've said it about 4 times now, but literally every game feels like a Champions League final. And speaking of Champions League, this game is again going to be crucial for our push for top four. As you can see on the screen, Spurs managed to fight off a spirited Burnley, who obviously got relegation confirmed after that loss. Burnley were 1-0 up, but Spurs fought back and they got the 3 points in that game, which means this for the Premier League table. It means that Aston Villa obviously cannot really afford to lose both of our games. If we lose both of our games and Spurs get, a point and a win, which is realistic, they're playing Manchester City. Manchester City have an awful record at Spurs' new stadium. Pep Guardiola has a tough record against Spurs as well, and we expect them to be able to put many goals past the leaky defence of Sheffield United. Then, if we lose both of our games, which again is feasible, Liverpool are a top 3 team. Klopp's final 2 games in the Premier League, and Crystal Palace are a team in the most wicked form I have seen in the Premier League so far this season. We could really be in trouble, and this could go down to goal difference. With that being said, we also have 11 plus injuries. Apparently we're only going to be able to name about 11 or 12 senior players in this squad against Liverpool, but it is our final game at Villa Park this season. It is a game where if we get a win, we get Champions League confirmed. Even a draw might be enough to push us over the edge. If you are enjoying the content, guys, leave a like. It helps out the videos a lot, and subscribe. It helps the channel out as well. We're well on the route to 2,000. Now, without further ado, let's get into what I would do in terms of my lineup for this game, given all of our injuries. So to an extent, the lineup picks itself. Martinez in goal. I should pop it up here. That'll probably help. Martinez in goal. Luca Digne left back. Again, no news on Moreno as of yet. Pau Torres and Diego Carlos in the middle, and Ezri Konsa right back. That is purely because Matty Cash has just, for me, had a really tough few games. I feel like he's low on confidence. He doesn't really offer anything more than Konsa offers going forward, in the fact that he gets in good crossing positions, then just cuts back on himself. And Konsa offers a lot more defensively. Obviously, he did come off with a tough game against Brighton, against Adingra, but I feel like he's probably the more solid option for this game. John McGinn slots into that left mid role. There's been no news on Morgan Rogers. I doubt he's going to be back for this game, and still no news on Yuri Tielemans either. So the centre mids pick themselves again. Douglas Luiz, really tough run of form for him as well, but we have no one else. And then Timo Rogbottom possibly might be able to unlock the best out of Douglas Luiz in the sense of Douglas Luiz was at his best when he had a true holding mid next to him in Kamara. Emery clearly sees Rogbottom as that holding midfield option, so that could be one that would allow Douglas Luiz to try and overcome this fantastic Liverpool midfield. And then Moussa Diaby on the right. There's been a lot of news circulating that finally the strapping on Leon Bailey's knee has caught up with him, and he is going to be out for this game as well, which doesn't really leave us any options up front whatsoever. So it's John Duran and Ollie Watkins. We're starting 2 out-and-out strikers up there, and perhaps the chaos of those two will be enough for us to snatch victory at Villa Park on our final Premier League match day at home this season. In terms of the bench, I'd like to see the likes of Rory Wilson, Monroe, Kellyman, Kesler Hayden, all of these young players. It's about time they start getting a bit of a chance towards the end of the season. And with all these injuries, what a better time to do it. What would you guys do, though it is tough with all of our injuries and stuff like that, to pick this starting lineup again? Half of it picks itself now due to these injuries, and it's going to be a slog. It's going to be a slog fest. Any ideas, though, leave a comment down below. And in terms of our opposition, this was Liverpool's last lineup, a 4-2 victory over 4th place chasing Spurs. Alisson in goal, we all know about him, one of the best goalkeepers in the world over the last 5 to 10 years. Robertson, left back, Van Dijk, Quansah and Alexander-Arnold. A very solid back line, but you have to say a leaky one, and one that hopefully we'll be able to exploit. They play a high line just like Villa, and Watkins, as we saw against Arsenal, is fantastic against these teams at getting in behind. He is an elite striker, but he is going to have to deal with the likes of Van Dijk. Although I quite like the odds of Duran against Van Dijk, because it's just chaos. Sometimes chaos wins. In terms of their midfield 3, that's been spectacular this year. They obviously have Szoboszlai on the bench as well, who's been a very, very good player for them. Curtis Jones on the bench, another player, Gravenberch, that can come on and change a game. But last game they went with Endo, who for value for money has probably been one of the signings of the season. McAllister, who's been fantastic recently, and then Harvey Elliott, who scored that absolute blinder of a goal. Harvey Elliott probably the weakest of that midfield three, purely because he's not really a midfielder, is he? And then Diaz, Mohamed Salah, who has been one of the Premier League's best players over the last 5 years, and Cody Gakpo up front, but that could obviously change. Darwin Núñez on the bench, that's £50 million worth of striker just sat there waiting to come on. Look, there's a reason they're third. It's because they're a bloody good team. So what do I think is going to happen in this game? We have to win. Honestly, part of me says there's more chance of us winning this last home game at Villa Park against Liverpool than there is us getting a result against Crystal Palace in the form that they're in, and the fact that they have all of their best players fully fit, something that we obviously don't have. It's going to be a really, really tough test. Look, this is our last Premier League home game of the season. It's Jurgen Klopp's last away day in the Premier League ever, according to his comments of never coming back to England due to his relationship he has with Liverpool. And look, the only saving grace of this for me, Liverpool know they're not going to win the league. They know they're not going to finish below fourth. Perhaps emotions will get the better of them, the fact they're not actually playing for anything at the moment, which is always helpful. When you play some of these teams that aren't really playing for anything, sometimes their concentration levels can just dip. They've gone from possibly winning a quadruple to now just being able to win the Carabao Cup, which they have done. And Villa know, now that Tottenham have beat Burnley, we need to put that pressure on. Europe's gone, we're in no other cup competitions. This is the be all and end all. This is our cup final, and Villa Park needs to be rocking. Villa Park needs to be a fortress. Do I think we're going to do it? Unfortunately not. I think Liverpool are probably going to beat us 2-0. We're tired, we're leggy, and we only have like 11 senior players fit, and it's going to be really, really tough to overcome. But let's not overlook the fact that these boys will have it in the back of their minds. Win, and we're in the Champions League. What do you think is going to happen though? Comment down below. As always, up the Villa. Be nice to everyone. And I bloody hope in my review the title is Aston Villa are going to the Champions League.